What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7, and today we're on a subscriber account, helping him fix it, get into endgame. I like to call this one Ran into Trouble because Ran was his #1 hero before I came in and started just messing everything up. We're going to take a look at it. I spent a couple of days farming. I think I've been on this account 2 days now. Went from about 3 million gold to about 20 million gold. Today, what we're going to do, though, is we're going to start with the Sanctuary. One thing that this player did not do is they did not come into episode number 2 and finish out the Sanctuary. So we're going to come into the AP shop and we're going to start to buy these things. Now you see that there is some epic level gear here. We are not going to buy this epic level gear because it's level 71. If we're going to buy any kind of gear, we like to buy something that's around 75 or more. Really, with the state of today's game, we want something at 78, 80 at the minimum. This level 71, 72, 73 gear, this stuff really outdated. They should upgrade this. And the reason I say that is because level 71 gear does not roll the same substats as level 85 gear. 75 and up will roll the same substats, but if it's under 85, then of course you cannot reforge it. Let's go ahead. We're going to go into the Sanctuary. Now, this is something that's very important because the Sanctuary allows us to do a lot of things, but they don't give us enough of these Breath of Orbis to be able to max everything out. So let's talk about where we want to be. When we look at the Steel Workshop, we want to be 333. You're going to spend quite a lot of time in there crafting equipment in the end game. Now, for most of you, especially those of you who have not been playing for years and years, in high command, we want to come in and go with a 1-1-1. And I'm going to show you exactly why. When we come with a 1-1-1, that's going to allow us then to do the war mission and the hunt mission, which was not open before. So let's go ahead and pull one more down here. Very good. And then we're going to do a war mission. Now I do the 1 XP mission. This is a 1 to 10 ratio, which is the best ratio that you're going to get. And so this is the one that I always use. And what I like to do is put in 3 heroes who need some experience. Or I guess it's 4 heroes, isn't it? 4 heroes who need some experience. Lilka. Miss my Lilka. We're definitely going to be building her. But they give us a plus 40. We'll do the same thing on to this next one. Now, you can use heroes in here. I like to use 5-star, even 4-star heroes that have the plus 10. But try and use heroes that you're actually going to use, or heroes that you can then pull into like a specialty change or something like that. But I usually keep one of every hero, so as long as you can get someone experience, I think it's okay. Next, I like to have a maxed out Heart of Orbis. Now you can go with 333 or 332, depending on what you're going to do in the Alchemist Steeple. For the Alchemist Steeple, I go with a 0-3-3 or a 0-2-3, depending on whether you need to have this final one in the laboratory. So the final one in the laboratory allows you to craft catalysts and exclusive equipment and modification gems. For most of you, you're never going to use this, or you're going to use it maybe once every month or once every 2 months. So it's not really worth having 3 points into this if you don't need it. I like to have a 2-3. And then go into our Forest of Souls, and then we're going to max this one out. So with Forest of Souls, let's go ahead and we are going to improve this all the way. We do have to reset one thing. There we go. Next up, let's go into the event. Now, the hero events are very important. This person had not done any kind of hero events before, so we finished Dear Mentor, and now we're coming in to finish all the rest of these as well. When you have a buff weekend, you get extra experience. This is a very good time to be able to come in and then just start farming everything and getting quite a lot of stigma while you're doing it anyway, right? You can do that. You can go to Hunt. I spent a lot of time in Spirit Altar as well because they have no runes. Not only that, but they have Montmorency, and they can't use her because she has no runes to max out. You have Ras, he's maxed. Then you also have Arowell coming up. You have Lorena. They have no runes. So we spent some time doing that. But you can see that we're getting so much of these materials that are just, they're being wasted when you're not coming in, you're not doing the events, and you're not collecting this material. This is probably the greatest bang for your buck that you're going to receive anywhere in the game. So very, very good. I definitely do this every 2 weeks, anytime that it comes into a reset, and then just go for any kind of catalyst that you really want. You're not really going to use the hero summon unless you're summoning for imprints or you need that one hero late game. Most of us, very, very beginner players, you need to pick up Tamarin, you need to pick up Brieg. Pretty much everything else you're going to get naturally through the game, and you can do it once every 2 weeks. Every different kind of account has different kinds of challenges. Sometimes you really need a Moonlight hero. Sometimes that Moonlight 3-star is just not dropping for you, and you're not able to progress as easily as you might because you're not having the kind of luck you need. Now, in this case, we do have a lot of heroes, but we're building the wrong heroes. We see that we have Seaside Bellona. She's great in all parts of the game. Landy, again, all parts of the game. Rast, Tamarin. These are core units that you can use pretty much all the way through episode number 4, no problem, right? Build them, use them everywhere, use them in tower, use them in your hell raid. There's a lot of places you can use these heroes. Celine, while one of my favorite heroes, is really just a PvP hero. If we come down into Vivian, not so much PvP, but really great in the hunt and PvE content. Now, what this player has done is they're building too many of those types of units that are only good in really one very niche or specific part, like Senya. Senya is not going to help you in 99% of the game, but she is fun to use. Judge Kisei, well, people don't really use her too much anymore. Hua Young was OP at one point, really good into now a very specific role, but not very good into most parts of the game. Same thing with Hay, same thing with Lua, and we go down the list, right? A lot of great heroes. But they're building these heroes, but why haven't they built an Arrowell? Why haven't they come in and built maybe like a Camilla? Or why haven't they come in and built a Lilka? These are heroes that I'm all earmarking because we are going to build these heroes. They're necessary heroes that you really need to conquer very important parts of the game, like a Mui, right? 3-star hero that you can utilize to then destroy to make Wyvern 13 trivial, but still 3 stars. Haven't built her at all. And the list kind of goes on. We have Pillis. We can definitely use Pillis. But this is what we're going to be focusing on. We're going to be focusing on a core team. We have Seaside, Landy, Adventure Rast, Tamarin. Now we're going to bring in other things as well, like these heroes up here. Then we're going to bring in something like a Cinebria. We're going to bring in a Cecilia. Then we're going to take those into the expeditions. And now we're going to conquer one aspect of the game at a time until we can then finish a lot of different kinds of things. But to do any of that, we need gear. And a big part, or a big challenge of this count is that they don't have gear. The gear they're rolling is not good or is not right for the heroes that they have. One of the main challenges people face when they're building their accounts or when they're trying to figure out what to do is focusing on what gear to upgrade, what gear maybe they don't need or can use in the future, and what gear they really need to focus on right now. So that's what we're going to do on this account as well. We're going to go into max enhance here, then we're going to go into show equipment score. Now we see that we have some gear that's locked, and this is gear maybe they were saving, gear they thought they might use, and so we're going to go through all this gear and start to get rid of a lot of it if it's not usable. So on this type of piece of gear, I want to have somewhere around a 26 to a 29, 18, just not going to be good enough. This one's a 21, so you see health, main stat with crit defense, Then this last one down here, I want to be something usable. Flat attack, not going to work. Here we go. We see the same thing and the same thing. 16 gear score, very, very low. Minimum, I want a 23. Higher you can get to 28, 29 is going to be better. This is something I'm not going to be using. Here we go. Is there a gear that we're actually going to use? All right, we see speed gear. We see a max roll into attack. We see a pretty high roll into defense, not quite max. 8 is the highest. And then a min roll into crit damage. This is a piece that we can go ahead and keep and see if we can move on from. 16, 23, 20. No, no, no. Let's go ahead and get rid of a lot of these pieces. These are pieces that you're not going to be using very well to get high gear score heroes, right? Heroes that are going to be usable in a lot of different ways and meet those gear requirements that we need. This one is attack, crit chance, speed, max roll into effect resist. This is a very good piece. 27, we see 27 there. Now this is a HP set on attack. Unless you're using a bruiser where you want an attack or a HP offset, typically on an attack piece, you're going to want this on one of your main gear, like speed, one of your four-piece gear, right? Speed, counter set, things like that. For this being an offset, we can use it. Good equipment score, we're going to keep it, but no one that we really have in mind for that right now. Here we go with an 18, not good enough. Now we have a Unity set. For Unity, these offsets that don't have as high value, I have to have really good starting values to be able to accept that. HP, defense, crit damage, resist. Not a lot of heroes that we're going to be using this on with a hit set. Something like Bellona, right? Moonlight Bellona comes to mind, but not going to be using that for her. Now we see an HP, attack, crit damage, and effect resist. Not bad. It meets our equipment score value. This is not a set that I like to have. Now, if this were a epic piece of gear with just a throwaway stat right there, that's something I might roll, right? But because this is a heroic piece, we have to imagine that we're not going to see this plus 12 roll. And so if this is like flat attack, then we have to modify it into something. And what do you modify it into to give you a good usable piece with attack and crit damage with no crit chance? Not a lot of heroes that are going to use it. And then the hit set as well makes it an offset. Here we go. Okay, too low starting value. I know the substats weren't too bad. Too low starting value though. A lot of these pieces not going to be usable. This one's a 26, same thing, HP, attack, crit, damage, speed. Okay, so now this one is an attack or attack, speed, effectiveness on a crit chance set. Honestly, if this were something like attack, crit chance, effectiveness, attack, speed, crit chance, I like those combinations. I even like something like attack, crit chance, crit damage. Now you can run a um, heroic piece, crit chance set without crit chance if it meets some pretty good substats, but you have to imagine that you're going to want to have a crit chance right here. So if it doesn't roll into it, you need to modify it immediately. We're going to go ahead and save that one. This one, no good. With your torrent set, because it decreases HP, you want all of these to be HP free. So you're looking for things like speed, crit chance, crit damage, defense, maybe even effectiveness, but you don't want to have health. So if you were to try and roll this and it rolled anywhere into health, you don't want it. And because this is a weapon, you want to make sure it has an attack percent substat here, or else what's going to happen is you're going to build heroes. They're not going to have their main attacking substat on their weapon, and the next thing you know, they're not going to be any good. Now we come into a speed, crit chance, health. This is not bad. You can use this on someone who is a health-based attacker who wants to do damage. Something like a Brieg, right? So we're going to go ahead and keep that one. Let's go ahead and look through some of these. We have health. We have, okay, crit chance, speed, effect resist. If this were maybe crit damage or defense, I would like this piece. Let's go ahead and we are going to, do we have anyone to roll this on? Let's see what it turns into. The second it rolls into flat attack, then it's a throwaway piece. We get pretty good rolls here at a +6. I want about a 46. This is a 51, which means it's ahead of the game. We would have to modify this piece right here into something. But if you have someone who wants HP, crit chance, effect resist, I think it's a good piece. We're going to go ahead and lock that. And we're going to come back to that one later. This piece here, not too bad. Speed, crit damage. Now, who would even use a piece like this? I don't think we have anyone who wants to have speed crit damage on a defense base set, but we're going to leave that one for right now. This one here, no good. This one, attack, crit chance, effectiveness, not too bad. There are some heroes that are going to want to have an attack-based pair of boots, especially if they're on like a rage set, because we want them to be a little slower. Something like a Terranor Guard, something like a Baiken, something like a maybe you want something like a Helga or something like a Camilla, right? Something that's going to be slow, attack based. If this rolled pretty good, I think that would be an okay piece. Here we go. Defense, attack, crit damage. Not going to keep that one. Attack, crit damage, HP, and defense. Not going to keep this one either. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be a lot of pieces that we're going to keep out of this set, but we're still going to find some that we can roll. These level 88 pieces right here, these are going to be the first things that we start to roll, because those are the ones that came from Arena or they came from special packs. When we're looking at this epic pieces of gear as well, this is going to be pieces of gear that I want to take this gear and sell it rather than extract it. So when we're looking at heroic, when we're looking at the rare gear, that's kind of gear that I will extract. But for the epic gear, I always sell this stuff. Okay, actually this one's not too bad. Good bruiser piece. We have HP, defense, attack, and crit chance. I do like that one. This one we are not going to keep too low. Too low again. Defense, crit chance, crit damage, speed, flat defense. Okay, this isn't bad at all. Maybe someone like an Arya. We're going to keep that one. This one, not good. You don't want to have effectiveness onto a rage set. No one's going to use it. I'm just going to get rid of it. Oh, I lost my place. Oh, no. I have to go back down. Where are we at? 38 starting value. This one, fantastic. Gonna get rid of that one. And this one here, we do have a flat attack with an flat HP, but we do see speed here. Max roll into effectiveness, 29 value, pretty good. Now, if I were to roll something like this, this is something that I want to see really high rolls into speed. Now that it rolls into flat, this is something I'm automatically just going to get rid of. Not something I'm going to keep. I gotta stop selling those pieces though. Good piece here. We're talking about Unity set. So we see that this piece comes from, I think it comes from Hell Raid. I think it's one of the rewards. But we see max rolls here. 42 starting value, as high as it gets. Max rolled into everything. That is definitely a piece that you want to keep. Even though it's on Unity, you're going to get pieces that fall into that category and you're going to want to use them. Here we go. Attack and HP. Okay, not good. This is something that you can speed check if you want to. This account being as broke as it is, we're not going to be speed checking a lot of gear. That's really something that's more for end game players. Now, when we look at necklaces too, we see health, we see it onto a destruction set. There are some heroes that work really well on an HP necklace with crit chance, maybe defense, crit damage, and then it could be speed or whatever. Maybe something like an Apocalypse Ravi, right? Maybe even something like a Edward, someone that you want to be really, really bulky. They get almost as much damage from HP as they do from crit damage. So this would be something that's maybe good for them. But we would want to see like a crit damage here and not effectiveness. So even though, some of these things can work, that's not going to be something that we're going to be keeping. Not going to be keeping. Too low. Normally, you can afford to have one of your flat pieces, flat rolls, right? Normally, you can't afford to have more than one flat roll. Even though this has a 28 gear score, we see effectiveness, effect, resist, attack. Now, this is not going to be something that you can put on a lot of people. Maybe if this were defense percent, HP percent, or speed, this would be something good we can keep because it's not a good combination, even though it has a high value, not going to be high value on the heroes that you want to build. This one, overall, not too bad. We see a 28, defense, health, effect, resist. I would want to have a speed here. Now, this is something that we can test out. This is something that you might be able to use on a Knight or a Soul Weaver where you want to have a little bit of effectiveness and effect resist. And they don't have to be super fast, right? We see that we have a 48 here. I want at least a 46 or a 47. Okay, and we get a pretty low roll. Now at a +9, I want to have a 57. This is a +11 at a 57, so we're 2 behind. We're almost to that +12, so let's just go ahead and do it. And we get a 65. Now I want at least a 66. So we see we're at really high HP. Okay, we didn't roll anything into defense, that's fine. Then we rolled a +8 into effect resist. Now, if I can get like a 7 or an 8 here into defense, and then mod this bottom one into speed, then you have a pretty decent piece, especially for a new account where really what you're trying to do is you're trying to solve your core things that you need. And that's really what this account needs. It needs all of the core elements to make it stand out. Right now, you're having a really hard time building heroes because you just don't have those things that you need. Look at that, not too bad at all. What we do is we come in and we modify this into speed 2 to 4. We get a 3, pretty good. 81 value. Now I want to have an 80 value for my level 85 pieces of gear. If I were to come in and reforge this piece of gear now, I don't have the materials, but this would come into about 94 to 95. I want all of my level 90 and all of my level 88 pieces to be 90 plus, as close to 100 as you can, and those are going to be very good pieces for you, and that's going to be a good piece to help build up a lot of the heroes that we need. Let's see what else we can run into. That one, really good piece. All these 88 pieces are the ones that we're really going to be building. This one, not too bad at all. Health, defense, crit damage, effectiveness. We can find a place for this, depending on how it rolls. A lot of this newbie gear, especially for your new heroes, you're really going to want to roll this newbie gear. This level 75 gear, this level 88 gear. Basically, no matter how it rolls, you're gonna want it, right? You're going to want that kind of gear. This is a piece of gear that you can use if it rolls good into speed, good into effectiveness, Well, now you're looking at heroes where you maybe have Angel of Light, right? A lot of heroes that you can use with this type of set. 26, so it's a little bit low. If it rolls a low roll on your very first roll, or if it rolls as flat, you're going to get rid of it. I'm actually not going to roll that. This piece, it's not awful. If we can avoid this crit damage, health, defense, speed, that's something that we can maybe modify into effectiveness. We're going to go ahead and keep that one as well. This one, pretty good. This one, not good. And the reason I say this is good is because you can go a lot of different ways. You have your main attack stat here, which means that you can use it onto attack-based heroes. You have crit chance and crit damage. You don't have speed, and that's okay. Effectiveness, still a good stat on a lot of heroes, but if you have less than 4 speed, let's start with this. Speed set, speed boots, 4 speed on every piece, that's 200. Now if you get 1 roll on every piece, you're looking at 220, 230. 2 rolls in every piece, now you're looking at like 240 and up. So that's how you kind of decide. If I want to have a hero, it's about 200 speed. Let's say I want a Seaside Bellona, right? Or a Mui, or something, like a Carmen Rose, then I can run this type of gear, have it high roll into pretty much anything, and it's going to be a good piece. So don't be afraid of those types of gear. But keep in mind, too, that you can't have a lot of your weapons that roll really high into effectiveness. That's going to be a problem for you. Now, this one here, because we're looking at a protection set, right? You need HP on every piece. So even though it might be okay, we have speed, crit damage, attack. Maybe you want to use it as an offset to like a floppy hat Lilius, right? Then that might be something you can use. We don't really need effectiveness, but if it rolls in all the rest, that should be a pretty good piece. You would not really use it as what it's intended for. You would use it as a broken set. Now you automatically do lose some of your gear score or your potential for your heroes by using broken sets. But that doesn't mean you can't use them. This one, not too bad. We see a low roll into attack. Still pretty good. We can use that. Now we're getting into gear that he's already rolled into. So when we're looking at gear that he's already rolled into, are we going to keep it? Are we not? The first thing is that you shouldn't even roll this piece. It needs to have effectiveness and speed. 0 heroes in the game want to go slow and have a million effectiveness. This doesn't work. Maybe you're using like a really old school Dizzy or something like that on a counter set. Mostly not going to work. I don't roll any heroic gear that has a flat, and this is exactly why. He rolled it at a +6, and it went 2 times into flat health. Really bad. Now here we go with this one. What are we looking at? Health pair of boots, crit, effect resist. This is the pair that I rolled. We're going to keep that. Of course we're going to keep that. All right. So we see at a +6 roll, speed, crit chance, attack, effectiveness. This is a good piece of gear to roll. I would roll this. The problem is that it rolled HP or rolled attack on the first roll. So you see maybe it started at 7 and rolled a 6. Then it rolled into health, flat health. Now at a +6, I want to have a 47. I only have a 40 because it rolled into that flat health. Now, if you want to keep going on this, if you're very new to the game, you might be able to salvage this piece by avoiding flat health for all the rest of the rolls. It's a little bit risky because what if it rolls really great and then rolls into flat health at the +15 roll, right? You just don't know what's going to happen. And it rolled effectiveness. I don't like it. I want a 46 at a +6. I'm at a +9. I only get a 48. Not going to be good. Now, I should say as well, when you're on these newbie accounts and they have no materials, you can come in and you can select to get cores instead. Now, what I like to do, especially with this new system, is I like to come in and get the enhancing materials. So all the stuff that we're seeing today, we're just going to go ahead and sell. I will say though that on the practical pair, this is a +6, and we get 31. This is more cores than you're going to get than if you were doing like Wyvern gear. The practical gear, the gear that's using for equipment conversion, you do get more cores for using that gear as extraction. Okay, defense, HP, effect resist, not too bad. But we have two things we want to avoid here. We want to avoid crit damage. We also want to avoid this flat defense. Now, flat defense is something that's actually not too bad at all. If you roll a flat defense, that's a higher roll, even though it's flat defense, than every other stat. And here's why. Let's say that we have a hero with 600 defense. This is a 34. That's 5%. Normally, if I were to roll something like a 50 into attack or a 40 into attack on a 1,000 attack hero, well, you're looking at a much lower roll, right? You're looking at something around 3 to 4%. So defense, automatically the flat rolls in defense are worth more than flat rolls into attack or flat rolls into HP. Still, what I would want to do is roll all HP, all resist, mod this into speed. Or what you can even do is maybe you can roll this into something like it would be interesting if you rolled really high crit damage, right? HP effect resist crit damage, maybe like a Moonlight Ken or something like that. Typically, we don't put them on the speed set, but just looking at the substats, something you might want to do. We're going to keep that one. This one, not going to keep. I don't like to roll things with effect resist and effectiveness. Yeah, I don't like to roll things effectiveness and effect resist on the same piece unless it has really great subs. If this were like HP percent, maybe you roll it, but I automatically hate the revenge set, so I typically don't do this one. You just don't get the value out of that set as you do other sets. Effectiveness, not going to use it. We have a decent equipment score. I won a 57 at a +9. I get a 52, so a little bit low. But again, when you're looking at effectiveness, you want to have the substats that are going to make sense on the heroes that you're going to use. I will say that I have made some exceptions on this type of gear. If I have effectiveness main stat and it rolls just amazing, get super high rolls like 39 starting value, and it has effectiveness main stat with something like attack, speed, crit damage, health, it's something that you can use on some heroes. Something like an Arteem Mercedes, something like a Politis, even somewhere where you want to do damage and you want to have some effectiveness. These are times where you having a high starting value gear score, you can overcome a lot because that gear that might roll up to 100, right? And so you can really get a lot of value out of it. We're going to go ahead and move on from that piece. We see effectiveness. Okay, so this one is probably a good example. I want to have a 59. I want to have 57. I get a 59 here, and we see exactly what we said. Crit damage, crit chance, speed. This is a good example. This last one can be attack. It can be HP. It can be defense. I don't like effect resist, but as long as we avoid it, should be a fine piece right here. Hopefully we get another roll, maybe 2 rolls into this speed, and I think you have a good piece. Let's go ahead and move on. A lot of these pieces. Okay, so this one, not good, not good. At a +9, I want a 57. I have a 50. This rolled less than heroic because it rolled too many times in the flat. You need to be able to abandon this piece. It rolled maybe 1 time into crit damage, and then maybe or 2 low rolls into crit damage, then into flat. You need to be able to abandon this piece. Don't get married to these pieces. They're just not going to be worth it. See this one here? You have to understand you're not going to ever develop good heroes if you take too many of these flats. This one actually not bad at all. Speed set, crit damage, defense attack, even 1 roll into effect resist. Gonna keep this. I want to have a 66. I get a 64. So, I mean, it's not going to be amazing, but very usable, especially in the beginning of the game. A lot of heroes you can use this on. I think it's going to be pretty good. If you really wanted to, you could come in and re-roll this crit damage into HP. I think that would be okay. You wouldn't want to to modify effect resist into crit chance. This would be on someone who doesn't want to crit, but wants to go pretty fast and have general base stats. This one, pretty good actually. We want to have a 66. We get a 63, but we see 3 rolls. No, we don't. We see 2 rolls into crit chance, 2 max rolls. It started at 5. Then we get a 5 into crit chance, a 5 and a crit chance. We see a 9 here into defense, which is not possible. So it must have started like a 4, then rolled a 5, and then rolled flat attack as the last one. This is something where I think I would want to come in, and I think what I would do is take this all the way. This defense, I would modify this into attack, I think, or modify this flat attack into defense, or excuse me, into HP or attack. And this is going to be an okay piece too. Even though we're a little bit low on the gear score, it's going to be an acceptable piece for this type of account. Now, my main account, I would probably throw that away. We're going to keep this one as well. We get a 73, higher than the 66, right? I think 66 is what we want. That's right. We get a 73, good gear value. We're going to keep going with that one. Here we have effectiveness, attack, crit chance, crit damage. Okay, this is like exactly like the last one. Exactly like the last one. Go ahead and let that one go. And we're going to keep going. Now this one, 57. This is way behind where we want it to be. Crit chance. Anytime you have a crit chance necklace that has a very large value to it. Crit chance is a very high value substat, but you have to have really good substats here as well to really want to take it forward. If we have crit chance, then we see like crit damage, attack, defense, speed, defense, HP, and they're all really high rolls. Don't be afraid to go into crit chance. Now, you might only get to 220 or 230 crit damage on that hero, but you can really expand and give them a lot of stats if they don't really need to go super fast, or if they want to be really high attack or really high crit chance or really high effectiveness, like Winter, right? Then that's something that you can do. But I would want to see on this effectiveness, maybe even like speed, attack. That's what I would want to see here. And if it were another piece, if it were epic, I would want to see something like maybe even crit damage down here, or maybe like defense. And then you can get a lot of gear score, a lot of value out of a crit chance necklace. This one we are gonna keep. I actually rolled this one. I like it. It went all into HP, all into effectiveness. It avoided this crit chance here. Let's go ahead and we're going to take that to plus 15. It did go into crit chance. That's unfortunate. Still going to be a good piece. We get a 77. Once that reforges, then we're going to look at something like maybe a 90, maybe a 92. That will be a good piece there. Let's go ahead and we're going to continue on. This one, not good. Not good. Crit damage, okay. Speed, health, and we want to see crit chance right here. So when we're running into a rage set, we want to have all of our rage set pieces have crit chance, crit damage. Then maybe even effectiveness, because most of the people that we run rage on also have debuffs, right? Things like Baiken, or things like Alexa or Sigret. People we have rage set on, a lot of times we want to roll that effectiveness because they also have debuffs. Now I want to have a 66. I do get a 66. We need to modify this here. But since it rolled really well into crit damage, 3 times in a crit damage. I think this is going to be acceptable. Let's go ahead and we're going to take that one to plus 15. Okay, we get a plus 3. As long as it doesn't roll into that flat, I think I'm fine. We don't have a crit chance, but this is something that you can use on a lot of heroes, and it's going to work out. Now, I'm also going to get a higher gear score here once I modify this into crit chance from flat HP. So that's going to go up in value. This one, not a bad piece. We see the same thing that we had talked about before. We see crit chance, crit damage, effectiveness, speed. I want a 66 at plus 12. I get a 71 at plus 13. I think that's good. Don't roll too many of these because you don't have an attacking main stat, which means that it's going to be really hard to meet your attacking thresholds if you have effectiveness on all these pieces. Let's go ahead and move on. I think we're almost getting to the end here. Doesn't have a lot more gear to go. This one, not good. Not good. Even if it were, man, you got like a 4 roll here, and then you got like you started with a 7, you got a 6 and a 6 maybe, or a 7 and a 7. Not too bad, right? But who are you going to use this on? Who's going to have HP necklace with attack, crit chance, crit damage? And then I guess we take this into speed. Add a heroic piece of gear, add a plus 15, or so yeah, add a plus 12. I want to have a 60. This is at a 62 because it's at plus 14, so it's on track. This is something I think that we're going to keep, but I have a really hard time trying to figure out who would want this. Who would want to have low crit damage with high attack? I just don't think you can use it. If this were HP and it rolled high crit chance, high crit damage, and then it had defense, then I think that would be a usable piece on like an A Ravi, but not as usable when it rolls high into attack. Keeping that piece. This one, 65, not good. Not going to keep that one. And then we see a lot of these 85 pieces. So some of these 85 pieces, I want to be 80 or more at 85. So this is 65. You have flat HP, flat defense. This is the kind of gear that's going to keep you bad. You're never going to be breaking into Masters in RTA. You're never going to get up to Champion using this kind of gear. It's just not going to work for you. This one, not too bad. We see a 73 and a heroic piece of gear, level 85. I want to have a 74 or more. Ideally, I would like it to be close to 80 if I can. But this one, not too bad. Looks like the plus 15 roll went into flat attack. Now you can modify this into effectiveness or just keep the flat attack. I think that one's going to be okay. This one here, now again, we want to be above a 90 when we see a reforged piece of gear. So this, not very good. We see an 83. Now, if I am going to reforge heroic gear, I want a minimum 85. So below the threshold. We are going to keep it though. This one, we can modify this down here. That's going to increase it, but still we want to be at least 85, ideally 90 or more. This one, not good. 65, not good. Same thing. We have crit damage on a crit chance with no crit chance substat. Now maybe we can modify this into crit chance. So we're gonna keep it. Maybe we can use it. These are not things that I would roll. Who are you really gonna use this on, right? Let's see what else we have. Hmm. You know, I don't know. I don't know. There are some heroes that we can use this on. It's a good gear set. It's a good substat set. Things like Camilla, things like Leica or Lilka, Things like Carmen Rose or Helga, there's a lot of heroes, maybe even Mui, that fall into this line. I think we're going to keep that piece. Some of these pieces we're going to try and keep, see if we can salvage them. This piece we're not going to be able to salvage. Yeah, I don't like it. I just don't like it. Maybe you run crit chance down here. Maybe you can run it on the new Lilius. Maybe even run it on Charlotte. Fire Charlotte. This one's pretty okay. When we're running into attacker-based gear on a armor piece, we want to roll high into crit damage, crit chance, speed, and maybe effectiveness. Then if you can get something like an HP or a defense, I think that's okay. This piece is pretty good. We're going to keep that one. Now this one, actually, I like this piece. It rolled really high into crit chance. When we reforge this, it's going to run like a 23. Yeah, 23 crit chance. That's going to be really nice. Now you cannot get attack onto a chest plate, so this one I think is acceptable. Keeping that one there as well. This one I do not like. Maybe we can modify one of these. But again, we see that we have a effectiveness and effect resist on the same piece. I wouldn't even start to roll this piece at a speed, crit damage, effect resist, unless I rolled triple speed. I would never take it past +9. Never. Because you have to automatically assume that you're going to modify this +12. Even though it rolled into effectiveness, yeah, you got one roll into each one of these. And then a low roll somewhere, maybe into speed. Nope, it only rolled 2 times into speed. Yeah, 2 times into speed. So your +15 was into speed. So maybe you started with a like a 4, then you ran a 2 and a 2, or a 3 and a 3 and a 2. Not good. 66. Way below where I would want this. We're gonna, some of these pieces that we are looking at right now, maybe we can try, because they're already level 85, maybe we can salvage them. But these are pieces that are examples of gear that you would not roll because you can't put them together with other gear that's going to make sense. We have crit damage without crit chance and not on a crit set. So now you're going to run into heroes that have like 66% crit. Well, we need to have something that's like 85 or more, especially if you want to be very consistent. 100%. If we run this onto a hero that has a imprint that's crit or an EE that's crit, then maybe we can make up for it if we have other pieces that also rolled high. Maybe you wouldn't want to roll it on like a green Sid, because you want to have a pen set for him. But maybe there's someone and we can figure out where to put this stuff on. But a lot of this gear just not going to make it onto anyone. There's no one that we're going to roll or we're going to want to have, this really, really low. At a 60, I want +9 to be 57. So we're at a 60 at +15. Cannot use these types of gear. Cannot. Your heroes are going to be busted. And now we come to the point where we selected all the gear that we're going to keep, and we have to decide what to do with all the rest. When we have gear that is below level 85, I always sell that gear. When we have gear that is level 85 and it's blue or it's this weird pink color and it's something that you're maybe going to want to create new gear out of, right? This is something that I like to extract. Get the cores until you get to about 1,000 cores or so, and there's really no point to go over that. Then everything else I'm going to start to get rid of. We see that we have some of this gear I'm going to keep all the level 88 stuff. Then we're going to start to get rid of these pieces. Keep the level 88. Then all this level 85 gear, I'm going to try and find a home on. Even though we've already rolled it, I don't want to waste the resources by trying to continually re-roll gear when I have gear that's going to be okay for right now. Is it going to be end game? No, it's not going to be end game. We're not going to find a particularly great use for a ring like this. We're just not going to be able to. But can we make something good enough for right now? Can we make something good enough that we can use maybe into the world boss and score some points? Absolutely, we can. And that's exactly what we're going to try and do. Then the rest of this, we're going to go ahead and roll. Now, what I want is I want to pull down a lot of this enhancement powder. That's going to help me, especially on this new account, because I don't have any kind of uh, deep pool of charms to use, right? So let's go ahead and see what we have left to salvage and then try and make some more gear. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with the pairs of boots that we have. This one here is an HP pair of boots with crit chance. We have that flat attack. Maybe we can modify that into like a defense stat, and we can use it on someone like maybe a Shu, maybe even an Illinev. But I don't have them that I'm ready to build right now, so we're going to go ahead and leave it alone. Now we have speed, attack, crit damage, defense. Maybe this goes on to a Lilius. Unfortunately, they don't have that hero, so we're not going to be building that pair of boots either at the moment. Next up, we have speed, crit chance. Okay, defense, attack. Now this piece I think that we can use. We want to modify one of these maybe into an attack stat. Maybe we want to modify them into... Oh, great. That's the one thing I wanted to avoid. All right, that's no problem. We do have a defense here. Now, we don't have a modification stone, but we'll get an 11% attack here. So that'd be high crit chance, pretty high into attack. We'll see 11 plus another 10, 22% attack. That shouldn't be too bad. We're going to keep it. Not ideal, but we're going to keep it. Let's see what else we can roll today. This one is attack. Okay, let's see what we get. Now, when we're rolling this, we want it to roll really great into crit chance. Once it rolls into flat, and now we're going to go ahead and get rid of it. This one, speed, attack. Okay, this is something that I would roll. This is a 24. It's below where I want. I want to start at a 29. It rolls a 4, so that puts me still, I want to be at a 38 here. I'm at a 34. If we can get another really good roll into crit chance, or maybe a max roll into attack. Oh, max roll there into crit chance. Not bad. We're at a 44. I want to be at a 47. Maybe we can pull this one back. Okay, very nice. I want to be at a 57, at a 54. I do like that. And we get a max roll into attack. Very nice there as well. I want to be at a 66. I'm at a 64. Let's go ahead and we're going to pick up some charms here for boot. And then let's take this up to a plus 12. Where did it go? There it is. Can I get another max roll into attack? That would be fantastic. No! No, you get back in your place. Flat HP. Oh, sucks so bad. We are going to modify that. We're at a 75. We want to be at an 80. This is going to be an 80 once we're able to modify this. We don't have that piece yet. This is going to be good. This is going to reforge into something like a 19. No, a 20 into crit. 20 crit chance on a pair of boots. Fantastic. Very usable piece. It's a great example. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get it into attack. That's okay. If it would have rolled into effectiveness, that would have been okay as well. Um, yeah, that's going to be okay. Let's go ahead and roll this one next. I want to go to a plus 3. Max roll into crit chance. Almost a max roll into crit damage. No defense, no defense. Of course. Of course, defense. Oh, I'm having that kind of luck today. Now, I want to have a 50 at a +9 into a heroic pair of boots. If I would have rolled into maybe a 4 or a 5 again into crit chance, this would be getting close to a epic piece of gear. Now you have to think to yourself that on the +12 roll, we're probably going to get something we don't want. Maybe it's like a flat attack or something. So what will we roll there? We're probably going to want this to be HP percent. Maybe even attack percent would be okay. Maybe even effectiveness would be okay. This is a good piece I think that we can keep. Let's go ahead and we are going to take that all the way up. Let's go ahead and pick up a couple of more and roll this pair of boots. Let's take it to a +12. Now, the one thing I do want to say here is that when you're rolling a heroic pair of boots, you have to think no matter what this rolls, I'm taking it to +15. That's exactly what we're going to do. Go all the way to +15. You do run a risk that it could roll into that flat attack again. This time it doesn't. We want a 74. We get a 70, but when I modify this into something else other than flat attack, that's going to be a good piece. But, as you know, no modification gems right now. This is a gladiator piece of boot. I don't like it. I don't like it. We can try and roll it and see what we get. Maybe it rolls great, but this old gear, this old level 88 gear, this does not roll the same as the new level 88 gear. So I don't recommend going back and purchasing it. And man, every pair of boots I've ran rolls at least twice into effect resist. I just don't like it. Maybe if it rolled into crit chance right then, I'd be really excited about it. Not feeling it. Maybe I can find somewhere for that. Let's go ahead and keep going. Let's go into Unity. Okay. So the reason I did that is because I don't like to roll Unity unless I have something I'm going to roll it with. So we see that we have a pair of boots here. Speed, HP defense, crit chance, effectiveness. Then, okay. So we do have some pieces here that we can roll. Let's go ahead and we're going to do it. You can find some good uses for the Unity sets, especially on those heroes like Camilla. This looks like it's rolling into a Camilla piece, maybe even a Mui piece. Rolls into HP there. What do we get on +12? We get more effectiveness. I want to have at a +12, I want to have 73. This rolls way above that. Very, very good. Yeah, that's a pretty solid piece. Let's see. Oh, I do like that they changed this. I hated how it was before. I just want to pick what I want to pick. So much. We want above a 90, we get a 94. That's going to be a good piece. No crit chance. That's unfortunate. But we're going to go ahead and pair it with this one, or maybe even this next piece. That one doesn't have crit chance on it. Let's roll this one first. We get high in HP. I've rolled at least 3 of these. Every one of them rolled into HP on the very first roll. Not saying it's rigged, but yeah. Here we go. Okay, not bad. Again, I have an 85. I want at least a 73. So that one, it does roll really well. Let's go ahead and just finish this piece out. Nice, a 16. Now it's not going to complement very well onto the last one that I rolled. I might save this one and roll that one a little bit later. But we're going to be able to make a hero out of that. Now, what we do have here is let's look at our rage gear next. So we do have a decent sword. Well, I wouldn't say it's a decent sword. It's got one roll into crit chance and a roll into the attack. This one would have been better. We have a chest plate that we can use. We need to modify this into crit chance, which we don't have. Okay, this one, I don't like it. It rolled a plus 15. When we reforge this, we can probably plus 19. We're going to use that as a broken set. Attack, this is no good. We do have a ring. Don't like it. Attack. Super high into effect. Resist. Attack with no crit. And then a pair of boots. So boots, ring, necklace, helmet. Let's go ahead and roll this one. This is going to be a better piece anyway. +5 there. Okay, then a what? A 6? Let's go ahead all the way to the top. No HP, no HP. What happened? Okay. 2 rolls. Looks like 2 6s into attack. Another roll into crit damage. Very good. I want above a 90. I get an 88. Still acceptable, especially on a rage set. That's going to be very good. The problem is now, though, that we have all this rage set with no crit chance, which means we need to pair it into a crit offset. 14 there. Maybe that's going to save us. 15 there. Oh, and very nice. 29% into attack. That is very good. It's a nice pair of boots there. And now what we want to do is we want to come in and roll this level 88 speed gear. And then we want to roll the HP gear. So that's going to be important because we're going to be able to roll some pretty decent stuff here. Let's go ahead and we are going to get some charms. Let's take 2. Let's see if can we go to plus 15. We can. I love that they put in the refund. That works really nice. Okay, very good. So we're gonna be a good bruiser set. We avoid speed altogether. I hate that speed anyway. So like we said before, that if we're rolling into speed gear, we get speed set, speed boot, 4 speed on every piece. That's gonna be 200 or more, no matter what hero you put it on. So this is gonna be not too bad at all. We can build a decent bruiser hero out of this. Let's go ahead and see what that weapon looks like. I think that we do have enough here. 55. That's what it cost. It cost 55 to go to plus 15. Oh man. Okay, great, great. So we won above a 90. We get a 92. 20% onto crit. We avoided that attack. I hate attack. Hate attack. I don't want any more attack on any piece of gear ever. Thank you, Smilegate, for listening. Now this piece here, this is going to be pretty good. We know that we have enough. Takes 55. Greater armor charm. Okay, I won a 90, get a 94. Went to everything except for effectiveness. Great piece. At a 10 speed, you can easily, if all your pieces roll 2 times in the speed, 220, 240, no problem. Angel of Light, looking at you, girl. Angel of Light, she's so pimp. She doesn't even need shoes. That's how meta she is. She will whoop you without shoes. Let's go ahead and we're going to get another charm here. We're going to get... Oh, I got a lot of charms. Where did these charms come from? Let's pull down. Plus 15. Let's go. Nice, nice. We get a 16 speed on that one. Avoid effectiveness again. Now, I would actually like to avoid attack, but still, that's going to be great. 16 speed. I'll take 16 speed all day long. Don't know what I'm going to do with that guy. Let's go ahead and we're going to get... Can we go to plus 15? We can. Look at that. That takes a ton. Let's go and let's see if we can pull down some charms again. I don't even know where they are anymore. One more. I don't think I have anything else. But we can save a little bit of dust. 1,000,000 gold. And it rolled. Wow. Max roll in defense 4 times into effectiveness. We'll get a 93. That was wild. That was really crazy. Let's go pull down a couple of charms for our boots. We do know where those are. I know where they are, but then I didn't pick it. That's a little bit embarrassing. All right, here we go. No whammies. We get a 96. Okay. Really good into HP, really good in defense, really good in a crit chance. I'm looking at who do I even have that can utilize this on this account? I think on my account, I'm looking at something like maybe a Shu. Shu would like this piece. I know a lot of you like Shu. I actually don't use her very much at all. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. High defense, high into attack, or excuse me, high defense, high into HP, crit chance, maybe a Dilibet. Yeah, maybe a Dilibet. That might work out. Let's go ahead now, and is there anything else that we want to test out? Let's go ahead and pull this one down. Let's go straight to plus 6. Okay, 2 min rolls. That's what happened. 4, the lowest roll I can get. 44, I want a 47. I think that, let's try one more time. And we get a 3 crit chance. You know, this is something I would not normally take on my account. I'm going to test it and see if maybe I can use this. I don't think I can. 3 basically min rolls. I think I can get a 2 into... No, 3 is a min roll. 3 min rolls. Lowest rolls possible 3 times in a row. The likelihood of that, the stats on 3 min rolls all in a row, that's rough. That's rough. But being a new account, maybe I can salvage that. Let's check this one next. 5 into effectiveness. 4, okay, a little bit better than min. Not going to be usable. Not going to be. Maybe I can keep it. Maybe I can mod this out into crit damage. We still got a very low roll into attack here. Not ruling anything out on this new account though. Let's go ahead and we are going to keep on going. Let's roll this one too. We're rolling everything. We get a 7. We get a 6. Yeah, I can do math. 6. We get a 4. Another min roll. Oh, man. Man, it's rough. No, this piece I'm not going to continue. I want a 57. I get a 52. We're going to go ahead and let that piece go. Let's move on into... Let's go into defense. What are you? This is the piece that we can take into plus 15. Do we have anything to pair it with? We got a defense piece here to pair it with. Did not roll into HP. Did not roll into attack. Defense onto the ring. You know, this is something that maybe we can utilize in the future. Not something we can utilize now. I just don't have the heroes for it, honestly. Speed crit chance. Okay. Triple speed. Here we go. This is where you see the plus 16 magic. 16 magic all day long. 2 max rolls. Not 16 magic, but 2 max rolls. Okay, this is actually a pretty good piece. I won a 57 on epic quality gear. I'm on heroic gear, so that is good. No matter what it rolls down here, I'm probably going to have to reforge it. Ideally, I think at this point, I would want to have a crit damage. We get effect resist. Not something that I wanted, effect resist, but something we're going to take to plus 15 and hope it doesn't roll into effect resist. And it doesn't. We get an 82 on an epic piece of gear. I won 80. I get an 82 on heroic. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Cannot modify it though. So this is something speed, crit chance, health. Maybe we want crit damage or effectiveness. Cannot have defense onto a sword, but we can put this on a Brieg. Yeah, that's gonna look hot. Pretty good on a Brieg. I like it. We're gonna roll this one. Let's do it. Let's do it. What does it take to go to plus 15? 700, 1 million. Oh my goodness. I'm down to 8 million. I started on this account with 3 million. I got up to 20. Now I'm back down to 8. Let's go ahead. We're going to save this just for right now. Here we go. This is something you can speed check. If it does not roll triple speed, it's going to be a loss. I did say I was not going to speed check gear. I did say that. Guess I'm a liar. Crit chance with speed. We want this to roll into speed. Now this is something I'm going to actually keep. We get a speed roll. Let's get a couple more of those juicy speed rolls. We don't. Where's my juicy speed roll? Okay. Still, this is something I'm going to keep. There's some heroes I can use it on. We get a 68. And what do I want? On level 85 gear at a +9, I want a 57, so way, way above where we want to be. It's going to be a usable piece. It is. It'll be a usable piece. This piece here, also usable. I want a 66. I get a 73, but we had a 13% there. Let's go ahead and go get our charms. I think I'm going to need one more. I don't think I have it. Maybe we can roll that. I don't think it's going to max out. That's a usable piece, though. We are going to keep that piece. Let's go now into... What is that? Don't rule anything out. I hate it. I really hate it. But we're not going to roll anything out. Next up, we are going to come in and we are going to start rolling onto this gear that we have for the free gear. Can we go to plus 15? Running out of gold. We get a +9 there. Not great. It's not great, but it's two low rolls. 4 and a 5. Not good. I want over an 80. I get a 76. That's okay. Let's go ahead and we're gonna see. We want to make sure that we're maxing out all of this HP gear, the free HP gear. The stuff is going to be good. We are going to be able to use it onto some heroes. We get an 82 there. Make sure that you're rolling this gear. Oof. Okay, we got a 6 and an 8. Pretty good. If you're using someone like a Dark Corvus, don't forget. Ooh, wow, 16. What in the world? 16? Come on, roll speed. Come on. 20 speed. Oh my, come on. Ah, 5 and a 6. We get an 87. It was so close. I felt it. Felt it in my bones. Okay, hey, not too bad at all here. We get an 18. Well, I guess it could be better. I want an 80. Low roll into min roll into speed, min roll into effect resist. We want to make sure that we're utilizing as many of these pieces as we can. I think that I've gone pretty much to the end of my charms, though. I don't have any more charms that I can utilize for these. So don't forget to level them up. I'm not going to be able to do it today, but don't forget. I think we're also not going to be able to roll into our gear for. Let's see, maybe I can roll a pair of boots. Barely getting there, running out of gold. 79, not too bad. It's going to be a great piece. Now, and it doesn't roll up to a 45 like we would onto a reforged piece of gear, but at a 35, we can still utilize this on a lot of heroes until we get a little bit more gear. Don't be afraid to pull these into heroes that maybe are like Tamarin, or maybe into something if it rolls really high into effect resist like this one did, maybe like a Montmorency, or maybe even a Destina. They don't have to be blazing fast to still be very usable. But I think that's going to do it for us today. We did run out of pretty much everything. We ran out of gold. We ran out of charms. We're going to continue to build up some of these gear, and then we're going to build up some heroes. This gear is going to be good. Don't worry. And we are going to break into that content that you really want. But we have to start from somewhere. If this is somewhere where your account is, don't be afraid to follow the same sort of rules, the same sort of format. Go through the gear. If it sucks, get rid of it. If you already maxed it out to 15, maybe keep it for right now so that you can utilize it on some hero, but don't lock it. Know that you're going to replace it at some point with some better gear as you get more used to rolling some of this good stuff and as you get used to understanding what you're looking for and why. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a like so other people just like you can find it as well. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.